The number one question that I get asked online or in person is about the bugs. The number one comment that people make when they come visit me is about the bugs. We're going to talk about that in this episode.
What's a prepper?
Someone who puts a bunch of cans in the...
Well, that's what I thought. He's a prepper.
No, but he has a can opener, but he doesn't have a bunch of cans in his car.
No, but he's got a can opener, which is manual.
No, that's just someone who owns a Swiss Army knife.
You're totally a prepper, babe. You're totally a prepper.
When you Google what climate we have in Tennessee, it'll say temperate, which means we have 4 seasons. When you live on the water, you actually only have 2. You have summer pooling, where the water is high for recreational boating, and you have winter pooling, where the water is low for the nature preserve. I have built 2 other houseboats before this one, and I lived down here for 5 winters now on different houseboats and in my RV. This was the first summer, the first time that I deal with snakes and bugs. In winter, they're just not a factor. There are no snakes, there are no bugs, and there are no people. It's actually the best time of year to be down here, other than the fact that you can't get into the back waters because they turn into mud pools. They lower the water to where you can't get into 90% of the waterway here. Looks like a good spot to watch the sun go down. Look at what I'm looking at. Sun is going good night. So 20-minute boat ride. Now we're somewhere. Yeah, this is very shallow. Let me turn this off here. Stop! Oh, see, when he jumps off too early, now I have to come back to the beach. Frustrations. But he likes to pee where other dogs pee. He doesn't get the same enjoyment just peeing in the wilderness. So this is a very good example or marker for what's happened to the water in the last 2 weeks. So we've lost about 3 feet of height. In the floodwaters, in the spring when the water was flooding, you couldn't see anything but the pillars. So the floodwater was actually above the concrete right there. And now the regular water level for summer pooling is that mark in the middle. And then now it's dropped 3 more feet. And it's not at low point. And so pretty much like right now, you know, all these, you can't pull up to shore unless you have your motor completely out of the water. Yeah, but it is what it is. So for the most part, there's like a fishing season that starts between now and November where a lot of people will go fishing. But when I say a lot, 1 or 2 boats will come by me. But when you look out on the river, there'll be 15, 20 boats that go out every day from the Marina right here. Then around November, it stops and no one goes out on the water. I mean, like 1 boat a day will go out from November until May or April, and it's just me out here. I'm the only one on the dang river. It's very rare to see people out after Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, going all the way up until May, beginning of April. Hey, river, let's go, buddy. No, he peed on like 6 trees. So if you look at this, during the flood season in the spring, I kept my boat in there, and now it's completely dried up. And when I put my boat in there during the duck episode, going up the duck, exploring the duck, I said, you can't even kayak in here, you have to walk. It's like a trail, it's not and look at that. But my houseboat went in that waterway. Look at all the logs that were behind it. And we stayed in there for 2 or 3 days when it was flooded. And now it's just mud, a bunch of mud. Yeah. Oh, we're even touching ground way out here. Yeah, the river is just shallow right now. Get in the boat. The quick answer about the bugs, and the most shocking part about what my friends say, is there are no bugs. And I'm going to go into detail about this in a little bit in the video, but for the most part, there are very little bugs during the day. Watching Netflix. River's making sure that no one comes in our canal. He's guarding it, barking at every boat that drives by. This is the best parking spot for sunrise wake-ups. And the sun comes up right in the middle here and turns everything a beautiful shade of red and pink, and it's amazing. Yeah. Back up and take it in. But I just threw some pork chops on the grill. Yeah. And because it's gonna get to be 62 tonight, perfect sleeping weather as well. We're gonna keep all the windows open and fans going. This is River's new. Yeah, see, that's a beaver den, and every time the beaver comes and goes, River goes nuts. He's gotten beat up by 4 otters, so I keep telling him that a beaver is way worse than an otter, and he just growls. You hear him just whining when he sees them swimming under the water. Right there, you see him? Mr. Beaver. They're much slower than otters, and they don't make as much noise, but when they make noise and they slap their tail and stuff, they are pretty loud. Yeah, funny. He's teasing me. Ooh. A little longer. Turn it down. Turn it down. That wind feels good. It's cool air, but I don't like the rain. It dropped like 15, 20 degrees in 10 minutes. It was never good. That means it's going to be a bad storm. No, you can't look at. You can't even see the river. The river disappeared in the rain. Oh, I bet you it's foggy out there too. All of a sudden, because the air temperature went down so much. Look at that. I'm tempted to go outside and video, but not really. Not really at all. We got real waves coming in here too. So the volume is all the way up. That's a bad scene to watch. But I'm watching Netflix. Volume is all the way up. listen to how, you know how they talk about rain on a tin roof? When it rains, you can't hear anything in here. It's so nice and cool out here. Look at that. That cold water, that rain is freezing. It's supposed to be very windy and hectic tonight. I might have to go put another rope out, but we'll see. We'll see. Are you scared? At least it's not thundering yet. Good boy. You know, every single morning, this spot, every time I wake up, there's the sun's right there coming up over the other side of the river. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, can't ask for more than that. Alright, I'm gonna drink my coffee. River. Okay. I'm kind of cleaning up the beach. I'm gonna go over to the marina and pick up some of my friends. And I went to get off and I saw the cutest little water snake in the world. Oh, look at him. He's not even 5 inches long. He's so tiny. I would pick him up, but I'm not good enough to know. I know it's a water snake, but I'm not gonna pick it up because I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I'm not that person. Look how he just wants to get some sun. The water got cold on him. 75 degrees today. Perfect day. Oh, there goes River. River scared it off. You scared off the snake. He caught a fish this morning too. Oh, he got a fish. Don't go under the boat. That's a good dog, dude. That's a dog right there. He is eating the entire fish. He's definitely eating the insides more than the out, but he's disgusting. You have ruined my breakfast, dog. I just started the motor. Look at her. She just hears it. She's like, we're going. Good kitten. River doesn't care. No, he cares. He got on the boat right away. Alright, come inside. I'm having company on the boat, and that's soaking wet, so I'm going to leave that here. And I'm going to sleep here tonight, so I'm coming back for it. The way the wind is blowing, the back line is super tight, and the front line's not even being used. So I'm going to put that up first. Then I pretty much put the line, one of the lines in. Plank goes up. And then I grab the last line, and before I pull any of the lines off, I run the motor and I kind of put it in gear and make sure that it's running good. That's one of the big things a lot of people don't do. Put your motor in gear while you're tied up, just to make sure it's not going to die. Because that's when it's going to die. Yeah, look at the wind completely changed. It's pushing us out of this bay. Alright, we're going to head to the... So, we have... These are about 2-foot waves. We have 20-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the north, which is going against the current, which makes these big waves. And I'll show them out the back in a minute. But look how calm the boat's riding. It's just eating them up like it's nothing. Now, if I were going 90 degrees in either direction, it bounces around like no tomorrow. But when it's taking it on the back, or you're driving into them, it does a really, really good job. See how they're white capping? Typically white caps come from a little over 1.5-foot waves. And 15-mile-an-hour wind or higher. Jalapeno stuffed olives. Very good. Alright. We got here. River's nuts. I'm going to take him for a WALK. He hasn't learned how to spell yet. I tie it off on both sides because the wind's kind of kicking around in here. It's definitely more windy than it's been in a long, long time, so. And then I'm gonna pick up my friends, and we might stay here because there's a picnic table. It's a beautiful view. And there's drinks at the marina. So we might stay here, we might go to an island, we'll see. We'll see, but either way, I'm taking him for a walk. We'll go check out the docks. Do you wanna go look at the docks? Yeah, you did. That's the Marina gas pumps and store, and they have bait. That's where I parked, right in the little bay over there. I don't know if you can see it right behind the car there. Air pit and the swing and a picnic table over there. And then dock 1, which is where my sailboat is. There's only one other person who lives aboard. His name is Dan. He's in front of me. Dock 2, another liveaboard on a sailboat. Dock 3 is made up of all liveaboards, almost all liveaboards. Dock 4 has no boats on it yet. It's being built. 5 is way out there, and it's all huge houseboats. You can see it. And that's the marina. I'll shot of it. Okay, we're videoing. Calm down, girl. I don't want to be like 18 plus on my videos just because Faith is. It's her language, nobody else's. That got me. No monetization. No advertisements on that video.
After your video.
Put it
This
on the
one,
shirt.
yeah, I will.
Have some merchandise.
With her saying that.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
No, I have to edit that. You can't say stuff like that. The computer catches it.
Oh, you're videoing right now?
Yes.
Okay, everybody.
The computer definitely catches it. River always had a girlfriend. Do you guys remember the first time they met? It was like a brawl.
Oh my God.
Everybody looked over like someone was gonna die.
She was like, not even one.
She had her real bark on him, and River was ready to fight. And then he realized she was a girl, and it was love at first sight.
Wait.
He was like, "Wait, ooh, she's a tough ass and a girl. Ooh."
I really forget that she's a girl.
She don't act like a girl.
No.
No. My Doberman was like that. Sam, when we called her Sam.
Oh my God.
You never realized she was a girl, but she was a girl.
Yeah.
And she was bigger than most boy Dobermans. She was 98 pounds.
Yeah.
It's absolutely something that I need. For another time, another place.
I thought you had one.
River took the arm off of it. I'm going to answer 3 questions real quick. 3 very popular questions here. Why don't you have more fires? You're going to see in the next couple of scenes why I don't have fires. Messes up my breathing for like the next 2 days. So I don't usually typically have fires unless they're going through a chimney. The second question is, how do you deal with storms? I'm going to show you some scenes where there's wave action based on what kind of fetch and what angle the wind's coming at later on in this episode to answer that question. The last one is, do you get lonely? I don't. I actually am spending time with people 4 times more often now that I'm living in the wilderness, strangely enough, than when I used to live in the city. My budget in the city was I would go out once per month, and now I barely make it a week without doing something with other people. Look at what this night turned into before my friends took off. We watched the sun go down and relaxed by the fire. So we woke up. It's 6 o'clock right now, and I just started the boat and left the marina area. We're gonna pull into this little cove right here and spend the morning. We're also gonna grab River's carpet. That's his dog thing over here. I gotta organize my ropes from that whole adventure. River's excited. I got coffee on, and the sun is coming up. It is like 49, almost 52 degrees, something like that. And look at the water's gonna start steaming as soon as the sun hits it. It's pretty cool and pretty when it does that. But I feel the sun right now. It's gonna reach 75 today. It's a perfect day, perfect weather. In the 70s, a little bit of breeze. Cannot ask for more. In the next month or so, this will all dry out and it'll be a big, huge grassy field for us to play in. So I'm trying the diesel heater for the first time since last winter. And it just kicked on. It's using a lot of juice. But I mean, the fan, it went from 13.5 down to 12.2. Yeah, I might have to plug a charger into this. The fan's probably got a bunch of gunk in it, and the heater's never been used in a long time, so we'll see what happens once it gets running. Almost with all diesels, they use a lot of electricity right away because they're heating up the coil. They're, you know, to burn the fuel. And then once it's heated, they drop back from using power. And it goes just to the fan. Once the fire's going already. We'll see what happens here. It's warmed up and running, and you can tell because you don't see the smoke coming out anymore out of the muffler. And then the voltage jumped back up to 13.3. In the process of doing that, I got a little scared because it showed 11.8 when it was charging, and I thought, oh, that's not good for the battery. So I went to go start the generator in order to hook up a charger. And I pulled, and the string broke. So now we got to go in there and basically take all these bolts off to get to the string. Which is not going to be fun. Alright, I was able to get it off. Now the cool thing is, watch how this, you see this little metal bar right here? When it's going in the right direction, it'll kick out and grab it. But when it comes back, it'll go out of the way so it can spin. Which means when the motor starts, it doesn't whip the string out of your hand. That's what that whole concept of that thing is. See that? Now, inside this handle is where the string ties, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull this little bit off and be able to retie the string. It'll just be, 2 inches shorter. I just stuck my knife right in there and kind of slid it out, and then we'll tie it back together here. Alright, I'm gonna try a needle nose pliers too. If you guys remember, what's running in the background is a diesel heater off of my Redodo 200 amp hour battery. Now they're again sponsoring this episode. I wanted to give you some feedback on how it's been over the last few months with it. Number one, it's working great. It charges fast. It being underneath that window right there is a perfect spot for it because it does have the IP65 waterproofing where it deals with salt water. It's going to keep the circuit board dry in all different types of conditions. No sand can get in there, that kind of thing. It also has the upgraded battery management system that will allow you to cut it off if it's too cold to charge. It's smart enough to have that happen where you won't hurt the battery. And as you can see, its main use was to run the diesel heater, and it's running it great. So I just wanted to check back with you on that and let you know that everything's been kind of working great. It's 12.8 volts, 200 amp hours, and it's from Redodo. It offers a 10-second burst at 120 amps, which is great for trolling motors. It will also reset itself after 30 seconds if something should happen and it's overloaded. So you don't have to disconnect the positive and the negative to get it going again. Now let's get to the generator. This is a perfect example of where not to be. So the wind is coming against the current down this river and causing these, some of these are 2.5 foot waves, right? Some of the biggest you'll ever see in here. And in my cove where I'm at right now, I'll show you in a minute, there's no waves because there's no fetch for the wind. So it's just a matter of being in the right place for the weather where you can kind of make your own perfection. It's pretty cool. One of the biggest differences between having hundreds of miles for the wave to build up is that your boat and bigger boats fit between the waves. So in Lake Michigan, we would see 6 foot waves, but the entire boat would go down the wave and then back up, and you never hit 3 waves at a time like we're doing here, where the front of my boat's just nipping off the top of these waves. Now, I've completely crossed the river, and you're seeing how there's no whitecaps on this side, because this is the leeward side of the river, and it's getting the least amount of wind and travel for the wave to build in. Now, when we cut into, I don't know if you want to call it a creek, but the inlet basically here, you're gonna see it. The wind can't get in there, even though the trees are moving around. There's not enough room for it to touch the water, and automatically it just completely turns into a different kind of day. Everything's calm. There's no waves. Look how calm the dinghy flies over this water. And this is where I choose to put my boat on a day like this. So the same thing happens during a storm. You just have to be in the right spot for the storm to not affect you with waves moving your boat and bashing your boat against the shore or what have you. So if you want to know the real answer about the bugs, I figured this out about 3 years ago. If you don't wear scented lotion and you don't wear cologne, I can get away with wearing like some kind of scented deodorant or what have you. But if you're just by yourself and you just have a dog or whatever in the woods, there's no bugs, like at all, ever. And when the sun is out, they're almost like vampires. When the sun is out, there's very little bugs, except for a couple of situations, right? One, if you have garbage pile up or you like left a case that was holding meat in a garbage can that's not a garbage bag that's not tied up, you can get flies, right? But I mean like 3 flies out of the day, and when you kill them, they're gone. It's over with. You don't get mosquitoes. They're just not something that comes out during the day unless you're in really deep shade. So if you're 20 feet into the forest, you're going to get eaten alive. It's just, that's the way it is. But if you're on the water or you're on the beach, they're not there. There are days where the beach has a certain amount of moisture in it where it's not completely, where the sand's not completely muddy, but it's not sand yet, and that can be perfect for no-see-ums. And I have gone, I don't get glasses very often, but so I don't have the best vision. But when I have gone half a day or a full day without knowing that there's no-see-ums, and I've gotten 20 bites on my ankles without even realizing they're there, that's one that happens. But again, it's based on well, I'm not going to go on the sand because it's kind of wet, but not wet enough where they can't handle it. But they go away in the sun too. So when it's dry sand, they're typically not there. They're kind of like in the water by 2 feet or 3 feet away from shore, where they're actually on the water. The number one thing that my friends say when they come and visit me is they can't believe that I don't have to, that there's no bugs. Like, they don't put on bug spray. It's rare that they'll put on bug spray, and if they do, it's out of habit. And the reason is because where they go, they're bringing 20 people, and 20 people all wear cologne and lotion, and the bugs just come to that type of stuff. The other one is campgrounds. If you have 100 people in a field, the bugs are going to come out of the forest to go to the field. That's how it's going to work. So I don't have a problem with bugs until about 1 hour after the sun goes down. And when that happens, I've shown you videos of it. My screens are covered in mosquitoes and gnats, and the spiders make homes there to collect them, and then I wipe away the spider webs, and then it circles around every other day. And there are tree frogs that come onto my boat to eat the bugs. There's ants that come on my boat to eat the bugs, but there are bugs every single night. If I was trapped in the woods or trapped out on an open boat with no screens, I mean, you would eventually just go crazy because you'd be eaten alive. So the main thing is, if you go to bed around, during the summertime, it's like 8:30. If you go inside and watch a movie and then go to bed around 10, and you're not outside after 8:30, you do all your cooking and everything ahead of time. I really even let River out the last time, right around, like right now it's 7 o'clock and we're going for like an hour-long boat ride. So we're gonna stop off at like 2 or 3 beaches, and then we're gonna go inside. We're gonna watch a movie, and then we're gonna go to bed. And you guys see, I wake up. If I have to like go to someone's house, I wake up an hour before that. But if I don't, I usually wake up between 4:30 and 5 and make coffee to watch the sun come up. And so I'm tired around 10 o'clock at night. Now, between bugs, I'm trying to think of the other thing that people ask me. Storms. I'm going to show you a couple of shots right now about the difference on where you park or where you are. So I basically park in places where storms don't affect me. Just my goal. You try to get into an area that's really calm. Lots of questions answered. This was a great episode to make. I wanted to touch base with people who had done comments, and it was really good to see my friends from Argentina. Thanks for coming to another country to hang out with me.